DeFiChain gang, welcome to today's Fireside Chat on the 26th of January. I hope you're all having a great day and reserved some time for an exciting guest tonight. Before we start with today's show, we have to do some, I know, pretty boring housekeeping items, but if you like what you see, leave us a like, it helps the project dramatically. And if you don't want to miss any further show, activate the subscription and the bell button. So that was the boring part, like I said. Now to the exciting stuff. Tonight's guest is somebody who is with DeFiChain for about 1.5 years. He is a real rock star, and he's the first one who is not only a DeFiChain community member, but he also works for Birthday Research. This is the gang, this is the company that brings you these fantastic tools like the Light Wallet, DeFiScan, and so much more. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in and welcome YC, the product guy. YC, good evening. How are you?
Evening. I'm great. Thanks for having me, Mark.
I'm so excited. Hey, that you were one of the guys on my list for a long time, and I thought we really have to start 2023 off with a special here, and I'm so excited to have you. You're in Singapore right now, correct?
Yep, exactly.
Cool, amazing, and live out of the jungle. This
Yes,
is most
in the tropics.
in the tropics. Yeah, living the good life with crypto, right? Cool. Hey, YC. I have so many questions for you, but like always, we want to keep it on a very light and easy note. I would really like to hear from you first. Give us a little bit of background. Who are you? People know you from many YouTube videos already, but we've kind of never tackled more the personal side. And it's really about learning more about you, that people, understand a little bit better what's going on in Birthday Research, what's going on with you. Give us a little bit of intro. That would be super amazing.
Sure. YZ is my name. You guys know me as that. I born and raised in Singapore, have been here for many, many years, and yeah, just been around this awesome community for about 1.5 years. Was really introduced to the whole environment of DeFiChain, I think about 2 years ago,
Okay.
by a friend. And yeah, I think since then really started to get more and more immersed with the people in the community, started to talk to people more, and naturally with all the different tech talks, live streams, sharing of the different products. That's really what I do on the professional end. I think of course product management, the product guy is the title of this show. But really, working on product management is really just pushing all the good work that the team has worked on, like the Light Wallet, DeFiScan, to the community, right? So all the sharing that has been done is really just to honor the work, and also to really look at how the community is receiving it. Yeah, so that's me. That's me on a weekday basis, right? So you said you want to know a bit more about me on the
Absolutely.
personal life, right? Yeah, so I think on my off days I really enjoy a bit of exercise, like running. I love running quite a bit. Do a bit of not really races, but just runs on my own. And I also love traveling. I think ever since the opening of the borders since for Singapore was about like 1 year ago. Been traveling to so many places in the past year. Just an honor to meet so many people. So in fact, I just actually got back from Munich
Cool.
to meet some of the DeFiChain team members.
Cool. We're gonna talk about that a bit later. Awesome. Hey, I'm also a runner, or I was even more runner. Now I'm more a cyclist. What's your distance? You said you took part in races before, right? Have you
Yeah.
done marathons before? Are you more the short distance runner? So what's your favorite distance?
I usually do like 10, 21. So
Oh,
I
cool.
mean,
Okay.
I do more runs on my own than I do races. Races maybe like once or twice. Yeah, but those are just purely for the fun of participation. But yeah, most of the time I just run on the weekends, run with my friends. It's just nice because you just focus on your breathing, right? You don't think so much about everything else. You look around the surrounding, the tropics, and yeah, you just it's just you and your breath and your steps, and then you just go. Yeah, that's what I love about it.
Where in Singapore? Where's your favorite running track? A couple of people know Singapore, I think, quite well. In which area could we meet you on your evening runs?
I usually run around more of the central region, so maybe
Okay.
around the Thomson area, Pierce area. If not,
Oh, nice.
occasionally I go to the east. Yeah, but that's usually not the case because I don't live there. So going out of the way to run it's not very feasible.
Yeah, it's not really efficient, right? First you travel half
Yeah.
an hour to run an hour, and then you travel back. Cool. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think DeFiChain Run is coming up sooner or later. Um, I've heard there are a lot of runners in birthday research, right? Or also in cake. So you had a
Yeah.
quite a successful Singapore marathon and half marathon event recently there.
Yeah, I mean, like we as a team, we do have a lot of informal gatherings. We sometimes schedule time to run after work together. Even on the Strava app, those are colleagues who are out of Singapore also join us. I think it's just a very fun place to be. You sort of look at each other. Oh, this guy ran this amount of distance this week, and then how fast he ran, and I'm like, okay, now we got to catch up and all that. So yeah, that's a very nice habit, or rather a team
Yeah,
to
you
sort.
mentioned something really funny because I think Strava is one of the most apps on my phone, and it's like always like kind of stalking other runners and friends how much they have achieved, cycling or running or swimming or gym. Right, it's super motivational, and it's fun how that can motivate, right? If you see how much others are doing, and it's crazy. So we
Yeah,
have
I
to
think the
connect on
best part of it
Strava.
is that yeah, is the leaderboard that does the job, right? Because you kind
Exactly.
of feel like you wanna be the best, you wanna beat someone else, so you do more.
Cool, yeah, competition. That's cool. I really like that. So we're gonna have to after our little chat, we have to connect on Strava. That's gonna be fun.
For sure.
Hey, you mentioned you are traveling. Where are you? I mean, we've been kind of in a difficult situation, like most people out there in the world, over COVID. But now the borders are open. What's your kind of favorite destinations? Where do you like to go? Are you prefer to travel in Asia, or are you more the guy who likes to travel in US? Where are you headed normally?
I think usually for the shorter distance, of course, Asia is a lot more convenient.
Okay, and
Time zone
where
wise,
in Asia?
it's
Where in Asia? What's your favorite spot there?
Southeast Asia. I'm in Singapore, so Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Bangkok is always nice to just like go around, look at the different cultures, the different food. Yeah, there are great food around those areas, even different parts of Thailand, different parts of Vietnam, right? But of course, if time allows, then usually stepping out a bit further to. I was in Australia for quite a while last year,
Okay, cool.
so
Where in
yeah,
Australia?
Melbourne and Sydney, actually. Yeah, those are in August last year. So, if I can, I would like to travel out, of course, but usually just staying within the Asian region is it's good enough.
Cool. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
especially people from Europe, right? They would love to spend more time in Asia. We had a nice event there in September at the Formula One time. At the same time, and a lot of people came over from Europe, especially Germany, Austria, and they loved it in Singapore. Hey, but you know that we are both kind of fans of Thailand and spent quite some time there. What's your favorite dish in Thailand?
That's a very tricky question.
Why?
Um, okay,
Because there are
because
so
just
many that
because
are
there's
really
so many of them,
yeah, okay.
and
But
there are
if you
so
have
many
to
different
choose
regions, right?
one Thai dish that you have to recommend to everybody going to Thailand, what would you recommend them?
I mean, okay, the most typical one obviously is, tom yum goong, right? Like just like tom yum soup. But I mean, other than that, of course, I love the kai jiao. Somehow the omelette in Thailand is always different from the omelette anywhere else. I'm not sure why.
Wow,
Maybe it's the oil.
that's an interesting
Yeah.
answer because I don't like eggs so much, right? So omelette is not on my menu, but that's a very interesting answer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but of course, you want to go like a bit further, a bit more exotic towards the food there. I think the lap mu, right, is this
I love
pork
it.
salad. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more southern Thai food. It's a little bit sour, but then it's also a salad. So I think that kind of like mixture of flavor, it's always yeah.
Fantastic. Sounds good. I'm getting hungry already. Great, great, great. That's really good. Hey, YC. Okay, so now we learned a little bit about you on the personal side. So I in my intro I said you're not only a member of the DeFi chain community, but you also work for Birthday Research, right? I would be super or it would be super helpful for everybody out there to understand a little bit better the dynamic. Why is birthday research there? What the hell are you guys doing actually? Because I think everybody knows cake, right? And a lot of people still get confused cake and DeFi and that this is not one and the same. Could you maybe in your own words explain kind of there's DeFi, there's birthday research, and there's cake, and how are these three entities in some way interconnected, but on the other side also not? That could be awesome.
Oh, that's a very good question. I think also like, yeah, you're right. A lot of people get confused or,
Mm.
they have these questions. Um, Cake, of course, is the main company, right? Cake runs a lot of beyond DeFi chain services. Like you have now we have ETH staking, we have all the different things. We recently pushed out Matic staking, for
Mm.
example. But then a lot of the work that a lot of the services that we push is also via DeFi chain. So on birthday research, we are more on the frontier of technology, if you want to put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So Cake DeFi focuses on the retail customers, right? But then birthday research is really looking at the blockchain ecosystem, the Web3 ecosystem to see what is coming up, what are the things that we can build so that we can continue to contribute to mainly the open source economy. Because I think honestly the idea of birthday research is that we are in an environment that is still growing very quickly. I mean, I'm talking about the entire blockchain space.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of a raising tide raises all ship kind of situation. So if companies or teams like ours continue to innovate, push the boundaries a little bit, I think everyone will stand to benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, one of the key, or rather, one of the heavy contributions that we do, undoubtedly, is also DeFi chain. So we contribute to DeFi chain in all the many different projects that you've seen, Jellyfish, Light Wallet, and so on. Right. So those I think I don't have to explain so much. In fact, it's also the fact that we are also working on other projects beyond DeFi chain. So it's really almost like an R&D slash open source arm that just
Okay.
looks at the different projects, out there and to see how we can add value and of course like also capture value there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is birthday research in essence.
Okay, cool. Awesome explanation. Yesterday in the news show, I got asked how many people are working for birthday research. I don't know if this is a secret or if this is public. If this information is something that you can share, would you mind telling us a rough number?
Yeah, I think this was also public information, so definitely possible to share. At least as of this point, I believe it's at 50 people.
Wow.
But of course, 50 people working across many different domains.
Yeah.
It's not just DeFi chain. There are also the recently Cake launched this Cake DeFi Enterprise, which is an enterprise product. Those are part of that workforce as well. So
Okay.
it's a mix and match, yeah.
Cool. So we've been talking a lot about the core development team, especially when it comes around the blockchain and Prasanna and all these people. Are they integral part of the birthday research team, or are they then a separate entity?
Definitely together as a team.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of these things. I mean, since the earlier days of DeFi chain, that has been the way. So we
Mhm.
are also, continuing that kind of a trajectory.
Okay, cool. I think that's very clear. I think thanks a lot. That's very helpful for people to understand how these things play together and what the different parts are doing. So now
Right.
you said you are 1.5 years into DeFi chain. Let's go a step back. I would like to hear, have you been in crypto before you came to DeFi chain, or was this kind of a new territory where you said, sounds interesting, I want to explore, and you kind of came in? What's the background here?
Yeah, actually, I think this is going to be very different from many of the fireside chats you had because DeFi chain was really one of my first introduction
Okay,
into
okay.
crypto. I mean, I have known about blockchain technology for quite a while, but never really dabbled into crypto on my own until DeFi chain really presented like a actual opportunity for me to look into it. So then I think that's where also the difference is because with DeFi chain as an entrance, then it opened up it's opened up a different perspective from many different people in the ecosystem, right?
Mhm.
And also when it comes to delivering products for the blockchain, I think bringing that sense of bring that balance between the traditional way of doing things and then also the newer way of doing things. I think that was a very I would say an interesting perspective that I sort of brought into the community. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's interesting to hear because, like I said, most people they've been, I don't know, they've been in the last bull market 2017 or something like this, and then they heard about DeFi chain and they kind of found their new safe haven in DeFi chain, and you kind of came in from the very
Yeah.
beginning. Hey, what's your background, YC? Because you said you brought the traditional thinking. Is this your first official job, or what have you done before?
Oh, Yeah, no, I've dabbled in many different areas. I think
Okay.
as many of the product managers in the company does. I used to work in startups as well. Did product management there, mainly more on the consumer and B2C. So that was where in Singapore we did it was like a food discovery startup that we did a mobile app, and then also moved on to a little bit of like tech consulting, right? So that is where the B2B experience started coming in, where we did a few clients within the region. Yeah, and then also having a sense of understanding towards more go to market. So there was a stint in my life where I did a bit of go to market consulting, so understanding how product and marketing would come together, and then that also then brought me to Kick and birthday research, which is essentially the combination of the few things that I just mentioned.
That's super interesting because my first job after university was IT consulting, and then I went into product management. But I'm not a techie, right? I'm not a very technical guy. I came from the marketing and management side. So
Yeah.
you studied management, or you studied some IT or technology kind of?
No, actually,
Okay.
my background then is exactly like yours, right? Because
Okay.
I started management more on marketing as well. That's where the my foundations are. But then with the different exposure to the different startups, having worked with them for multiple years, that's where the technical
Mhm.
understanding started coming in, and that made it very easy to pick things up, even in the blockchain space. Although things can be very complex here, but I think yeah, the muscle is there.
That's very interesting. That's actually a very similar
Yeah.
story in our beginnings. Okay, cool. Got it. I didn't know that. Fantastic. Good. So now you started at birthday research. You're kind of, you've got a big title there. What's your official title? So you're not the product guy there. You are?
I am the VP of product.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic, right? So that means you've got a lot of responsibilities. How big's your team now?
I think directly with the product managers is about 10 people right now, 10 to
Wow.
12 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome, mate. Congratulations. So I wanted to call you the father of, originally the father of the Light wallet, but that would not be absolutely the true, because I think you are the guy who brought the Light wallet really into public sight, because you've been on the fireside, on the tech talks, you've been involved with the community, you triggered a lot of interaction with the community. You've got an awesome team, and I met a couple of those guys. They're all fantastic, but kind of I think people connect YC a lot with the Light wallet. I love the tool. I would really like to hear, where are we with the Light wallet at the moment? You just did a complete revamp, like this 7-stage revamp, and what's in store for the wallet? Is there a lot more planned for the future, or did we reach a kind of certain point where you say now it's good, it's all singing, all dancing? Can you give us a little bit of
Sure.
outlook, not output?
Sure. I think firstly, very honored and thankful for thinking of me as the person who brought Light Wallet to the community. But I think that would be an unfair statement to the people who actually worked on it, like the team. So many of them who I think all of us who use Light Wallet interact with on Telegram more than even I interacting with me. So yeah, that's really just me bringing it out to the public. And in terms of the Light Wallet, really the recent refresh of the experience and the entire almost the whole stack of the app is really just a beginning, right? What it means is the reason why the first version of Light Wallet, which we saw previously, it was sort of like the minimum viable product that
Mm-hmm.
we had to do to get these features on the blockchain out to the community, right? Then now we have hit a certain point in the life cycle. We thought, okay, now we can start to think about the next stage. How can we improve that experience? How can we make it even easier for people who don't necessarily understand blockchain
Mm-hmm.
as well to use it? So that there came Light Wallet 2.0, where we really started to build made it more foundational and more flexible so that we can add new modules, new ideas, new services in easily. right? Because in the previous one, it was not so structured, it was not so flexible. Again, because we had to build it fast, right? Now that we hit a certain point, we could rebuild it, rethink the experience. So today, I think the Light Wallet that you can see is really the foundation of everything. And moving forward, of course, Light Wallet is just one of the community projects that support DeFiChain, right? So, and there are many out there. So when the blockchain moves a certain direction, delivers a certain type of services, then of course that's where this flexibility of Light Wallet 2.0 comes in, where we can easily and quickly add the new features, support those new features moving forward. But I think immediately, I think in the near horizon, of course, you do have your on-chain governance and all this new stuff, especially also with like DeFi Metachain, for example, that you will see some level of support there, some level of interaction with these cool features from DeFiChain. Yeah.
It's really interesting because when we started with DeFiChain, we had the desktop wallet. And I kind of love this tool, and I'm maybe a little bit old school. Younger people tend more to do stuff on mobile phone, and I was always completely against it. I always said, no, I don't want a wallet on a phone, I want to see it on the big screen. And Yusin said to me, and I will never forget that, he said, Mark, as soon as the Light wallet will be available, you will never ever want to go back. And I was like, kind of, no, dude, for sure not. I will always stay on the desktop wallet, and that's so much better. And I don't want the Light wallet. And he was so right. So nowadays, of course, the desktop wallet hasn't been developed so much further, right? But now I became such a strong believer of this product, so I just really love it. But that brings me already to the next question: desktop wallet. I think desktop wallet still has reason to exist, right? If you run a masternode and you've got a command line interface, what's the plan there? We haven't seen a revamp there. What's planned for 2023? Are you guys having that on the radar? I'm sure you have. What's the plan?
Right. So for the desktop wallet, I think you're right. It serves a certain purpose, but also because again, it came out. I think it was the first wallet that was built by the team. So I think at this point, and I think this is also very aligned with what Yuzin shared with you about how when the Light Wallet is out, it's going to change your entire experience and perception of it. So in that view, at least for now, the full node wallet is almost like a maintenance mode. So we just need to make sure it continues working well. Of course, with all the upgrades on the blockchain, we continue to support it. We are still doing maintenance, but beyond that, I don't think in the first half of the year we are looking at anything that is crazy there, unlike the Light Wallet, because again, we have seen a lot of community members move from the desktop wallet over to the Light Wallet, and then just like you, right? Initially, when the new Light Wallet was launched, everyone was like, they had their questions, they had their reservations, but humans are creature of habit. So whenever there's change, people be like, oh no.
Always hesitant first, right? Then fall in love.
And then they will come in and say, oh, this is bad, that is bad, I don't understand this. But then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, like, oh, I actually love this so much. So it's just always giving some time. And so I would say we would rather put in more time and resources into making that experience even better for the Light Wallet than the full node, if that answers your question.
Okay, cool. Got it. Hey, that we know it's all about redundancy when it comes to technology, right? So now you've got the superior, best product out there. I would say with all respect to all the other wallets that are out there, because so much energy and such a big team is working on it. But I always think it's very helpful to have several products who can kind of supplement your product offering. It seems to be very hard to bring up a second wallet. We have like kind of the Jellyfish wallet is kind of a browser supported interface, but it seems to be very hard for anyone to step up and say, we built another wallet for DeFiChain. How do you see that? Is your wallet too good that nobody wants to compete, or is it too complicated, or is just, what's your feeling? Why are we not seeing like 5 other wallets out there?
I think maybe okay, to be fair, I do think that we have seen quite a few new emergences in
Yeah.
the community, right? Like you said, Jellyfish Wallet. There are a couple like DFX Wallet also. They are just out there. In the past, we had a couple more. So I feel like it's not so much because we are too good or it's too complex. I think it's just really having that growing that community. And also I guess overall as DeFi chain, how every one of us can sort of push this idea and this culture of okay, if you want to improve the ecosystem, the project, then we all need to play a big part to contribute something even better than what has already been done. So I think it's this spirit that we need to continue building so that we welcome more people who are builders over to the ecosystem to okay, I have a great idea about this product or this wallet, for example. Let me build it. Right. It's not, to me, I don't think it's a competition per se, right? It's really as long as there are more people building good products for the ecosystem, it's always great. That's the great thing about
It, I,
this
I think
this
it's very
project, I feel.
motivational, right? Even if you don't want to call it competition, but if there's another team building an amazing product, you always have to innovate. You always have to kind of come up with new features, not to become obsolete, right? We've seen this in
Of
technology
course.
so many times. So at the moment, you're kind of a monopoly, with all respect to the other wallets. But yeah, there was a wallet before that was kind of not continued, right? The Safe Wallet, the project, long time ago. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's not easy to do it. So yeah, so for everybody out there who wants to build a wallet, you've heard it. YC would appreciate it. Would be a cool thing. So, and don't hesitate to reach out and maybe kind of cooperate or come up with great ideas.
Yeah, I think on that note also just also with DeFi Metachain, I
Yeah,
think then that possibility opens up even more because it makes it even easier to build stuff on it. Which I think was the whole idea when the EVM compatibility was proposed to the community through a DFIP. So yeah, I think it's just making this different areas, different aspects of getting more people to build on it to be even more attractive.
cool. So that your team is not only I don't want to make out of the fireside chat a tech talk, but there's a lot of course that goes into your personality. Your team is not only building the Light wallet, you mentioned that before, and
Yeah.
for example, DeFi Scan. I think a fantastic tool that didn't exist, I don't know, like 1.5 years ago when you joined, it wasn't there. We had several tools, and then we started with the D token, and then I think DeFi Scan came online to show the trading pairs with the API and was very rudimental, and it developed into something much bigger. Um, Now, on-chain governance is coming. Next week, we
Mhm.
announced this. Tell us a little bit, if you can, what can people do? Because even if we talk about on-chain governance for such a long time, and it was delayed because there were so many other things that have to be done before, what can people expect? How easy it's gonna be to submit a proposal, to kind of monitor the status. Give us a little bit of outlook if that's possible.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so again, DeFi Scan, like you said, when it first started, there are a lot of also different explorers for DeFi chain.
Right.
And DeFi Scan in the long run also shouldn't probably be the monopoly. I mean, there can be so many other explorers that come up. And so the point of DeFi Scan, I think I just need to also be clear here, is that it's not a crucial component to vote on chain.
Okay, that's
it
very interesting.
it
Okay.
it, it supports, it supports whatever that the blockchain has built, the rules that it has applied, and so
Okay.
it helps say anyone to make it easier to vote. So how we do it is we have this simple form where we ask you a few questions, like a few fields, and then it creates a command for you to easily copy and paste onto your command line so that you can do the voting or submission or whatever it is that you want to do. So that is this kind of like, it's more of a enablement, more of like helping people who maybe are not so familiar with the entire process end to end, to just simplify a little bit, at least cut short their process by half. So it really shortens that learning curve. So that is the point of DeFi Scan, as with many actually of the features that we have on Scan today.
Okay, so understand. So it's more a support tool that also can
Correct.
show you then later in what stage your proposal is most likely, when is the
Yeah.
next voting round gonna happen, and all these things.
Exactly. It's supposed to you're gonna see like, okay, what are the votes out there? What's the percentage right now? When is it gonna close? When is the next one? And all this basic information about governance. Because right now everything lives on GitHub, right? So we are trying to bring a bit of the interface over to DeFi Scan. But yeah, primarily a lot of the proposals, or actually all of the proposals will still have to be submitted by GitHub. I think if I understand from the blockchain side of things, because there then will need to, because you need a traceable sort of source of truth, and GitHub is auditable, loggable, so that's where I think we can have a bit more accountability as a project.
Yeah, understand. I mean, GitHub is always for the non so technical savvy people a little bit
I
is kind
understand,
of a
yeah.
maze, right? It's very hard to understand how to find your way around. So I highly appreciate everything that you made make a little bit more accessible. That's gonna be really, really exciting. Hey, I have another question that just came up in my mind. Especially you like to travel to Thailand a lot and stuff like this. What's the story about supporting on all our products more languages? Because we always think about how can we kind of
Mm.
find more customer, more investors, more supporters, build a stronger community. And especially in countries like, let's say, Japan, maybe South Korea, definitely Thailand. Thailand is super crypto savvy. There are so many people, there are so many products. When you travel through Bangkok over the last year, you saw even so many billboards about like apps that popped out of nowhere, and crypto exchanges like Cup and stuff like this. But on the other side, Thais are not really amazing with English language, and there are a lot of people who really prefer Thai. What are your thoughts on bringing more languages onto our products, just to make it more accessible for these kind of countries that use their own characters and their own kind of form of writing?
I feel that firstly, I think let's also refresh our understanding that the Light Wallet also is an open source project. So
Okay.
anyone who wants to contribute, you can actually post, any developers, builders who want to contribute to the project, you can actually submit your pull request on GitHub. So
Walk me through how that would work, because if maybe somebody listens out there and says, "Hey, damn it, I always wanted to have a Portuguese interface," how
yeah,
would that then really work? In simple words.
I think, okay, right now I think a lot of firstly with languages,
Yeah.
the challenge is
Yeah.
always getting the translations in. I think, for example, if I were to refer to Bitcoin, so
Hmm.
Bitcoin, what they do is I believe, if I understand correctly, they have this quite a scalable, easy way for community members to contribute translations to the different platforms that they have. So it's almost like an open source, crowdsource effort. So that I think is a direction that we can go. I'm not saying we have the workflow ready today,
Okay.
so I can't actually answer that question easily, because today is a lot of them is through Telegram, simple translations like that, because the words are usually quite repetitive. But I think if you want to answer your question, if you want to go to say Thailand, Vietnam, even countries that have completely different languages, I think as a community, even for other projects also, then we could think about a more scalable way where people can contribute from their different areas, different languages can contribute these translations, as a team.
So I'm not 100% sure how much more people that would bring to the project, right? But it could
Yeah.
it could it could be a way to attract people, especially if you use, for example, Arabic or really these exotic languages where people might not feel so comfortable with English. Maybe worth a try, but like I don't want to put it on you guys. I know it's a community approach, but maybe if somebody has a great idea how we can bring all these languages together, it could be an interesting approach. Just
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a honestly, this is a decentralization challenge. If you
yeah.
ask me, right, as an
Mm.
open source challenge, like
Yeah.
if you want to reach to different areas. Actually, if I understand correctly from the community, there were a few new communities that came up. Like Spain was one.
Yeah,
If I understand, Turkey,
we had a Russian one or something like this. We have a
correct.
Spanish one. Yeah.
Turkey was another one,
Mm.
and so these are it's just like that, right? Because they were like, okay, hey, we want to build this community. How do we either create some form of like presence or translation? So those, I think, over
Mm.
time as a project, we can morph and we can grow. But definitely, the answer probably wouldn't come from me, shouldn't come from me. I think everyone, if there are any great ideas about how we can grow in that aspect of internationalization, I think that would be super awesome.
I like the answer, because many times people say we need this, we need that. And it's very easy for us to say we kind of demand this from a central team, right? Because we come, even DeFiChain as decentralized project, we come out of this centralized world. There's always somebody I can request something from, right? I don't know, there's a pothole in the street, I call some minister, some
Yeah.
kind of authority in Singapore to fix the road. And there's, I don't know, my food delivery is not there, I know who I can call. And in this decentralized project, that's a massive challenge for us. And I get messages on LinkedIn, hey, I cannot withdraw my funds, or I'm stuck there, and can you help me? Where's the support hotline? People really have to learn that there's so much effort of the whole community needed. And if there's a problem, like I just asked you, how can we make it a language? I could actually come up myself and figure it out, right?
Exactly.
It's very
Yeah.
tempting to ask the product guy and say, hey, dude, could you please put me the Thai language in there? So that was the perfect answer, yeah. You work with DeFiChain, you work for Bistro Research. Of course, your most loved crypto product and project has to be DeFiChain and DFI. But
Of
I'm
course.
sure you haven't only been invested in DFI so far. I would really like to talk a little bit more about the larger crypto space. Where do you see personally, what are your favorites, right? I was always very transparent. For me, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then DFI, and I've got some smaller holding. But I would really love to hear what are you invested in? So no numbers needed, just like give me a rough idea, or if you are only in DFI. And where do we see in the future, where's the trend going? I mean, you're a guy who has to kind of also figure out a trend because you build products for upcoming trends. Very simple. There's no right and wrong anyway. We don't know. It might
Yeah.
all change tomorrow. How do you see the space at the moment? Where are you invested? Where is it going?
My investment is very much like yours, Mark. So it's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum. I mean the general two, it's you can't really run away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are a lot of, I mean, there's a reason why they are the major ones, right?
Yeah.
There are their benefits. And um of course in the past, I do think the recent bear market was quite an interesting, honestly quite an interesting gave quite an interesting insight to everyone, because previously it was a lot of this cool projects and ideas like
Mm-hmm.
NFTs and this and that. So it was this whole I don't know if it's a bubble or whatever that kind of like
In some way,
culminated, and
creative
then
madness, right? Like
yeah,
everything.
it
Yeah.
really was
Mm.
like manic and everyone was just everywhere. So I do think as we go through more and more cycles of such crypto ups and downs, we do need to bring a lot more practicality and utility to the community. So actually, if I can refer back to what you said a while ago, you said we all come from a centralized world. So there's always this in our core. There's always this very familiar habit of going back to how things used to be for us. So I think it's the same thing, right? As much as we push the frontier, we also need to think about what are the different
Mm.
services or different features that this services can help bring to our real life. Because there are a lot of things that, for example, NFTs. I think it's a great idea. How it manifested as an initial idea, I think it's just the start, right? It's just an image. Oh, I hold a monkey or whatever, but that is starting point. But then how much further can we go beyond that? And I think that's open for everybody, even within DeFiChain. I think speaking to the community moderators during the Munich trip recently, kind of really opened up this conversation as to where is the direction in terms of finance, right? What can we do more there? I don't have an answer, like you said, right? But I think it's really what can we do more there that people don't just feel like it's just a project that, oh, it gives me yield and then I'm out of it. Yeah. So I think it's just the gap between reality and this future needs to get closer and closer as the cycles go. It's my general sense.
Understand. When at the beginning there was Bitcoin, right? And I think everybody just thought there's gonna be one asset. Then Ethereum came, and then kind of projects on Ethereum kind of stepped into our world. And then there was this ICO craze, and everybody thought, okay, that's it. And then NFTs
Yeah.
came, and somebody always comes up with a smart idea, and then gaming came up, and then always everything collapses all the time, and kind of the phoenix out of the ashes comes up. And I liked what you said. It's like things seem to come together, like decentralized and centralized. There are these crazy ideas. They maybe fail on a certain level, but then it comes a little bit closer to the centralized world, and then it starts working better. It's
Yeah.
just so hard to figure out what's next, right? I think everybody out there, if we would know what's the next big trend, we would be immediately filthy rich. But it's just so hard. Somebody has to come up with that idea. And how do things develop, right? It's not one guy who says, okay, now it's PTS. And then, I don't know what PTS stands for. Hopefully nothing bad. And then suddenly everybody talks about it, right?
Yeah. Placeholder name. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really, really crazy. So I'm really looking forward, especially. How do you feel about price movement, and especially over the last? You said it was a very interesting experience. I thought a lot of people felt really, really, really bad over the last couple of months. You seem to be quite relaxed about it. I think if you're longer in the space, people become more relaxed. But it was a tough year, right?
For sure. For
Companies
sure.
failing and projects
For
collapsing,
the
and
industry, for the sentiment, for the project, I think a lot of things we saw firsthand, kind of like sentiment just turned 180 degrees, right? So,
horrible, right?
something
Yeah, yeah.
something goes away, and then people will be like, oh, it's a no, we are out of this space, or no, we're just gonna take a few steps back. I feel like it's always these things that kind of like push the industry as a whole back a few steps. But I feel like, I mean, if you look to history, that's always what happens with changes, with revolution. There is always pushbacks, there's always like, disbelief, and then you kind of like find a middle ground there. You over time gain ground, but you definitely always have to take like 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back to get some eventual progress. I think we just have to bear with that. I do see them as more micro instances here. Yeah, but I mean, in general, for sure, it was a bad year last year.
It reminds me about everything in life, right? You and me, we do a lot of sport, and even with running, I think sometimes you make very fast progress, and sometimes you pay for the very fast progress, and you maybe get injured, and then you have to slow down, and then you build a new foundation, and you come out stronger. Everything is in life like that, right? There's no direct line up, and
Exactly. It's not Nothing is linear, I think. And that's what people I think that's where a lot of disappointments come in, because people just think, oh, it's only gonna go up. It's too big to fail, or it's too much, it's too great. But things always go down, and you just need to accept that, I think.
yeah, absolutely. And I think if you, I don't know if it gives some people a little bit hope or better understanding, especially the new ones out there. Everything in life, if you learn a language or whatever, there's no constant progress. You have to kind of sometimes slow down, maybe even take a step back and relearn it, and then become stronger in it, right?
Exactly.
Super interesting. Good. So you feel kind of relaxed at the moment about pricing. There was a little bit of rally the last days. Let's see how sustainable it is. I think there was a
Yeah.
big discussion in Munich as well, right? Is it
Yeah.
sustainable or not? Um, we will see, I would say,
We will
right?
see.
We
Exactly.
will
I mean,
see.
we have learned in the past few months, so just keep a lookout. Be neutral about things, and don't go crazy.
Exactly. We just get a little bit more immune about these crazy swings in the
Yeah.
market. Hey, so what can we look forward coming back to DeFiChain in 2023? You mentioned DeFi Metachain. I think we've got a big hackathon coming up that is also managed by your team, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
When is the hackathon actually starting? Do you have the dates in your mind? I know
For
that one of your colleagues, Yuning, is very heavily involved in that. But are you? Yeah, maybe you can say something about that. What's happening there?
Yeah, so for the hackathon, I think because of so it is of course contingent on DeFi Metachain. So
Mm-hmm.
once DeFi Metachain is out, I think we would be able to give a much more concrete date. I think for now, no dates, no clear dates yet. But
Okay,
I think this is also a communication that we will um have to be putting out to the community about, okay, when is it coming? So keep a lookout, do a bit of marketing to, people outside of the ecosystem, because that's the whole point of it, right? To be able to build on DeFi chain.
very good point.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and I really hope, like, because now is a time where hopefully if the either people get more immune, or the sentiments are building up again, and people are more optimistic, and then it's the right time for developers
cool.
to want to build on
Mm.
new projects. Yeah.
Good. One of the last questions here. How's your investment strategy? What products do you use on DeFi chain? Are you more the staker? Are you the liquidity miner? Are you the heavy D token user? Do you trade D tokens? What's your strategy there?
I I think because my main strategy, at least back then, was with the vaults, right? Decentralized
Mm-hmm.
loan. And then that was when, DUSD and all. I mean, I just kind of wrote throughout the entire DUSD episode. So that was quite interesting. But mainly liquidity mining for me. I
Okay,
think that was that is quite the mainstay.
cool. Yeah.
But
So
with the price fluctuation, sometimes the impermanent loss, that's also something to be careful about.
okay, understand. If you can have a wish for DeFi chain, or let's say, what would you wish for DeFi chain to happen in the near and long term future? And what are also the kind of the requests from your side to the community, to everybody out there? Maybe we talk a little bit about that.
I would say they are the same answer, and they would be for more people to build, to build for the project, right?
Okay.
Because if I mean, again, this is everyone owns a piece of DeFi chain. There is no one owner, and if we want to have that mindset and that spirit going forward, then everyone needs to put in a bit more to just bring it up a bit. Because who says I have the best answers, or who says you have the best answers, right?
Mm.
I think it's always about that wisdom of the crowd to bring even better standards to project. And I just think, yeah, if everyone can come in, if I say I want something done, maybe you can, like you said, think about it. Maybe I can do it as well. So why don't I do it
Mm.
myself? So it's really about this culture that I think can be built, and that would be pretty cool.
I completely agree. I just hear so many people saying, I would like to do something, but I have no skills, or I don't know where I should start, or I don't know who I should talk to, or I'm just a marketing guy. I don't understand tech. How can we motivate people? I think a lot of people are too humble or too shy to step out and or step up and say, "I gonna do something." How can we bring more people in to do that? That's the biggest challenge all the time. Or my answer is always just every effort is welcome, because there are so many things. People are just always, they think that they cannot participate or contribute. And then we saw over the last year, more people step up, was so healthy, right? There was this very small DeFi chain core team, and then over the last year we saw really a couple of people finally pop up, and they become such a strong. For example, Kugi, right? A year ago, nobody knew about Kugi, and
Yeah.
then it's really about a year ago, and now he's such an integral part of the community. How can we help people to participate? That's the most difficult thing I find for the community.
I mean, there are, I think, a few components to this. One is exactly this type of interaction, right?
Yeah.
Is to I think showing people that there are, faces behind the scenes that are working on things, and helping them understand a bit more about what goes on, how they go about doing these things. I mean, because this is probably not a great example, because you're speaking to me. I am in birthday research, so we have a team of people. But then
Yeah,
there
but
are
you
also
haven't
people.
even been in crypto when you came, and I think that's why you're a very good example. It shows that you just said, "Hey, that's an interesting opportunity, interesting product. I want to do something," and then you learned your way in. this thing.
Correct. Yeah, but correct, exactly. Then there are also the more individual teams, smaller team, even one person, right? But I think the common thread here is they all need to people who are not already doing so need to be able to see inside and see all these people who are actually building, getting their hands dirty, what they're doing, how they are, what's their success like, or, it doesn't have to be successful. I think it's just how the progress is like. And I think overall, from those community members within it, just be a bit kinder and more, of course, critical with feedback, but also supportive of these people who are trying to contribute. I do think beyond that, though, that is more on the more, I would say, intangible front, but there is this component of technology that will have to make it easy. To your point, if there are people who claim that they don't know how to do things, they're just a marketing guy or sales guy or whatever it is, then that I think is a little bit difficult to convert. But then let's zoom it down to those people who maybe knows technology or maybe knows a certain thing that are at least specific to us, and then maybe there's still a small gap. So let's think about how we can close that small gap. And I think that small gap is DeFi Metachain, to be honest, because a lot of this ability to build, it's always about common language, right? For example, I mean, even just language itself, English, why so many people can communicate and do things so quickly is because it's a common language. So if on DeFi Metachain, everyone can use, EVM-based smart contracts to build certain products, it's at least universal and at least kind of brings a larger group of people together. So if you think about that, then you think about conversion rate, how many percentage of these new people can and will build. And then I think it's just about increasing that base as we go along, and increasing that base is really community engagement. So we talk about of course like the work that you are doing and a lot of different community members are doing just to find bigger and more different geographies, different groups of people to come onto DeFiChain. Yeah, I think it's just these few things, in my opinion, that can help us build more.
Awesome answer. I really like it. I think DeFi Metachain is a very good example how we're gonna make it easier. But I think also nobody was born as a DeFiChain community member, right? We all kind of grow into that role. And I think you're a very good example because you were not the crypto super guru out there. You just came in, you said, you've got a good product management background and I want to be in that space. And I think it really showcases very well. You can grow into it over time. And the second thing you said is, be kind to new people who come in and want to do something. Not everybody knows every answer. I mean, I'm far away to know every answer, and I make a lot of mistakes. If somebody is new, help these people and kind of mentor them, and then people gonna grow up and support the team, and we're gonna be stronger over time, right?
Yeah.
Cool. YC, there was a lot of wisdom, a lot of really interesting stuff there. I think we really learned so much more about Bursty research, about you as a person. Really appreciate that you came on the show tonight and you gave us all these very open, and this is not rehearsed. YC didn't get the questions before. This is always very kind of improvised, and we try to keep it relaxed and a nice conversation. Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed having you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me so much. I had a great time talking to you. And I mean, let's always keep it casual, right? I mean, that's how you get the spirits flowing.
I think
it's always nice.
Yeah, we shouldn't over-engineer everything, especially. Exactly. It's a very engineered topic anyway, so let's keep at least the conversation smooth. Hey, man, thanks a lot. We're going to connect on Strava. Sooner or later, I'm going to see you for a run out there. And otherwise, see you around in the Bursty Research office. Thanks for coming and have a fantastic day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.